viewers, how are you? Chef Joe here in the Crimson Kitchen, coming live straight at you. Hope everything's really great. Hope everything's been really good at home, relaxing, getting some rest, enjoying the summer, enjoying the sunshine. And we're here to provide you a great recipe with things you want to do in the sunshine. Today, we're going to be making some chicken enchiladas. So this is one of the cool recipes that I kind of make at home. My kids love all types of Mexican food, and it's been really great to kind of give them some authentic pieces and really make stuff from from scratch. So today, our enchiladas, many different kinds to make, different types of red pepper enchiladas, different types of green. Today we're going to kind of make ours based off of a tomato base, obviously some jalapeno in there, some spices. The first thing I want to get started in is with the chicken, because that's going to take a little bit longer than the rest of the things going on. So we got our chicken thighs today that we're going to use. I'm going to season them up. I got a pan here. We're going to give them a quick sear, get them some color. We want to make sure that, they don't come out, kind of palish color. We want to make sure that they look really good. So I'm going to get some oil in the pan first and foremost, so that when we hit these thighs right in here, they'll kind of get a nice sear to them. Before we get them in, we'll coat everything with a little bit of salt and pepper, get some flavor. In the recipe, we'll have a suggested amount, but if you like yours a little bit saltier or a little bit peppier, you can do that as well. Okay, get these flipped over. That's really good. And don't be afraid, you can be generous with the salt and pepper. I mean, it's going to need it. I mean, we are going to braise it in some chicken stock, so that'll help give it some good flavor and a little bit of salt, but it definitely will need the flavor. Let's go ahead, let's get these in. Try to fit them all on the bottom so they all get a little bit of color to them. All right, now we need to add a little bit more flavor to the chicken, just besides dry spices. So we're going to get some fresh onion in there, and that'll really help kind of give it some flavor as it cooks around. And who doesn't love garlic in food? I know just about everybody does. So we got some whole garlic cloves. I've already peeled them up. They're ready to go. We're going to add those in after we flip over the chicken. And I already got an onion already peeled so that we can get this cut up. Really, we want to make sure it's a little bit small. You don't want it too big to the point where it doesn't cook, because you really want it to melt down so that when we break apart the chicken and we start to shred it a little bit later, it'll just blend right in. And if someone said that there was onion in there, they might not even know. So we'll get that, we'll come across, and just like your typical cut that wants to be a little bit smaller, you want to come across the side of the onion first. And what it looks like with this size onion, we'll come across about 3 times. All right, so we got 3 cuts going this way. And then we're going to go into the onion widthwise, and we'll make some markings down. And you can go all the way through. The core is on this side, but we can go all the way down to the bottom because we don't really need it to hold together as much. All right, so we've got this way going, we've got that, and now we're going to go straight down, we're going to make our dice. So there, we've got a nice half onion. Obviously that was a little bit of a bigger onion than you might find in the store, and if it is a little bit smaller onions that you have, small yellow onions, you can always put 2 in there. That'll be fine as well. So these are searing up. We'll grab these tongs. Starting to get a little bit of color on there. Now with this chicken, there can be some variations from what we do. I'm going to kind of show you mine. This has some garlic, obviously the salt, the pepper, the onion. We're going to do some cumin in there. When it's finished, we're going to fold in some fresh cilantro. But you can also do, a simple recipe, whether it be lime juice, salt, pepper. It can have chili powder. It could have a different type of paste. It really all depends on how spicy you want it too. You can also grill them. You don't have to braise them. For me, I love braising and kind of getting that nice shredded meat at the end that you can roll into enchiladas easy. You could get a nice marinade on these and then just grill them, get them a nice char, and just chop them up and put them in as well. All different variations of what you can do. I think as long as you love the chicken that you're making, there's no wrong way to use it. So we're going to get these flipped over. We're going to get some nice color on the bottom of them. point here, so now we can start to add the rest of the ingredients into it. So we've got the whole garlic cloves here. We're going to sprinkle those right on top. Not too worried about getting them down into the bottom of the pan and browning around, just like the onions too. They can kind of sit on top. You don't have to worry about getting really a ton of color on these. These onions. And the last spice that I'll generally throw in there, dry spice, a little bit of cumin. We'll get this sprinkled around. And this is optional. I know some people have a thing with cumin, and they can love it, they can hate it, so that is optional in there. All right. Next part of getting everything ready is our braising liquid. So we got a couple cups of chicken stock here. We got some fresh limes that we're going to squeeze, and we've also got a little bit of apple cider vinegar. So I'm going to go ahead and squeeze up one of these limes that we can put in here. And always make sure you give your lime a good roll first. Gets the juices activated in the lime so that it'll take a little less effort to help squeeze that lime into whatever you're using. Great. Awesome, there's one half there. We'll get the second half. Sweet. All right, a little bit of the cider vinegar we'll drop on in there. Like I said, the last big thing is the chicken stock. That's the biggest part of the braising liquid. We'll fill that in. That should just about cover the top of the chicken to the top. These will go, like I said, and they'll take about 45 minutes to an hour on the stove. Around medium-high will be fine, because you do want to get to a good rolling boil. But you do want to make sure it's not rapid boiling, like you've got the temperature on high and you're trying to get it down as fast as you can. You can, but two things are going to happen if you do that. You're going to have to watch it, and you're also going to have to add more liquid as it keeps going. All right. The next part that we're going to end up doing is we're going to move into making the enchilada sauce while that kind of cooks around. The enchilada sauce that we're going to do today is a base off of the salsa recipe that we have done before, if you've been following the videos. So take a quick peek at that. We're going to throw that one at you, recap, and then get that salsa made, and then we'll start making the enchilada sauce behind that. Hey Bears, welcome back to making some enchiladas. Hopefully you got your salsa all made, ready to go. And we can keep that warm. You don't have to kind of cool it down, because we're going to get that right back onto the stove. So I got the salsa made here. I got it in a pot right back on the stove. We're going to add some ingredients, and we're also going to use an immersion blender on this. Try to get it really a little bit thinner. I know we all love good old-fashioned chunky salsa, but we're going to break this down a little bit, kind of get it a little thinner so it becomes more of a sauce, okay? So first couple things, I've got a little bit of chicken stock. When you make salsa, the pectin in the tomatoes really starts to make that thick. So we're going to thin it down a little bit with a little bit more chicken stock. We'll get it toned down a little bit, right? Then one of the ingredients I love to use is, whether it be a Goya tomato sauce, or one of the other brands that you can buy at your local grocer, or even if you go into a lot of Mexican authentic stores, you find these. And these are really good, and this really enhances a lot of the flavor, and this will give kind of a baseline for where we need to with these tomato enchiladas. So I'm going to get that in there, and mix it around, start to get it incorporated. And that will really bring out the color of this sauce, and it'll really start to turn it really red, especially as it cooks out too. We've got a little bit of chili powder that we're going to add in there. That'll give it some color as well. A little bit of smokiness, obviously, from the chili powder. And then we're going to give it some cayenne, which is optional. I enjoy a little bit of heat. You may or may not, so you may put more or less than I do, but we'll get a little bit in there so it gives a little bit of kick. Okay? All right, I'm just going to stir this around a little bit, and then I'm going to grab the immersion blender right now, and I'm going to kind of give it a good, and it'll smooth it out quite a bit. So, in case you don't know what an immersion blender is, these are one of the things you can buy at your local store, Tbsp, Target, whatever it may be. So I just want to get the last few words in. So we're just going to do this for about 30 seconds, 45 seconds. I know you're not going to be able to hear me as well once it starts. Kind of tip in the pan as you need to. That'll really help get all the bigger chunks to come to one side. Sure we continue the heat on there. We're going to cook this sauce a little bit longer. I think if we give it a good another about 15 minutes of a nice simmer, it doesn't have to be boiling around or anything like that, but a good simmer, really kind of get the flavors coming together a bit, it'll be really good. So as that goes around, we're going to kind of go back to the chicken. It should be finishing up right about now, so we're going to go check on that and get the final pieces on just carrying that out. Hey Bears, welcome back. We just finished up the chicken. It's braised up, it's looking good, it's starting to really pull apart. So we're just gonna go over here, gonna kind of tip it down for you. You can see it's all shredded apart there. What I'm gonna do is, you can do it at home with your tongs and kind of beat on it a little bit so it breaks apart, or you can cool it down and pull it apart by hand. Me personally, I like the easy way out. So I got a whisk, and I'm just gonna kind of start to hit it into it a little bit. And that'll really start to cause a whole bunch of shreds. And as we put them in these tortillas, they'll go in really good. So, key thing as always, make sure that you're tasting the food as it comes out. Don't always assume that it's going to be perfect. I'm sure that you love the taste along the way, so I feel like we shouldn't have any problems. But this will be really good. The garlic cloves are in there. They're mashing up really good. You don't even have to worry about slicing them, like I said, ahead of time. They'll end up getting so soft as they braise down for that almost an hour. These will be really, really good. So, that sauce that we had, the enchilada sauce, is already done simmering. It's off to the side here. So one thing why I mashed this we can talk about is cheese. Everybody loves cheese. Everybody wants cheese. Everybody wants some. I want some too, right? So different types of cheese that we have. I know a lot of people will buy like a bag Monterey or a bag cheddar piece, and that's fine. You can always do that if that's the cheese you prefer. I mean, I would definitely suggest hitting up a market and seeing like a Chihuahua cheese, similar to the sounding dog. It's called a Chihuahua cheese. And it is absolutely delicious. It's a great melting cheese. It's great for your quesadillas, and it's obviously great for these. And different cheese. There's what's called an Oaxaca cheese. That's really good. That's something that you can find, like usually a specialty grocer that you can find around and go to. In fact, I actually found it in Market Basket nearby in Pawtucket, South Attleboro, actually, Massachusetts. So definitely something you can find in your neighborhood. But my big chef pro tip of the day is with cheese. For the most part, if you can, just like any kind of pizza or anything that you have, buy the block cheese and take the time to shred it yourself. It goes a lot longer. It doesn't have that coating of kind of a cornstarch holder on it. And there's a lot better taste to it when you take the time and you use better ingredients. So this chicken is ready to go. All right, now tortillas. All different types you can use. If you want to use like a yellow corn tortilla, even a white corn tortilla, you're going to warm them up first. You're going to need to have like a little bit of a pan, and whether you kind of dip them in a little bit of oil onto a hot surface, or even just warm them up a bit with a pan, it's going to prevent them because they'll instantly curl and they'll start to crack as you try to work with them. Today I'm going to use flour tortillas, and that's generally what I use at home. My kids absolutely love flour tortillas, so that's what they enjoy. So that's what, as Dad, have to do. All right, so we've got our chicken. We're going to layer that right in. And I know you probably want some big fatty McDaddy kind of enchiladas, but you do want to make sure you don't put crazy amount of chicken because they will end up jumping out of there. You want to kind of keep it tame as much as you can. All right, so we got some cheese here we're going to throw in. And hey, as much cheese as you want. You want it cheesy, you put some extra cheese in there. You don't like a lot of cheese or no cheese, don't put it in there, right? All right, so we got our enchilada sauce. And we're always going to put a little bit on the bottom, make sure it doesn't stick. And that's always a nice saucy bottom. All right, so we're going to just roll these up. And you don't have to tie them on the ends, it's up to you. But I leave mine nice and rolled out. And if it starts to rip on the top a little bit like that, don't worry about it. Ain't no thing. This ain't chicken wings, but it ain't no thing. All right, you just roll them up. You put them in here. Boom. All right, we got 3 more tortillas. We definitely got plenty of cheese hopping here. All right, and you got some extra chicken. I mean, it all depends on how much you want to put in there, right? Right. And maybe one of the other recipes that we'll end up doing if we do some kind of another enchilada or a Mexican delight out there, there's a couple other enchilada sauces and different spinach-based ones, cream-based, tomatillo-based that we can do as well. So we've got a little bit more cheese. We'll use up what we got here on the board too. Rolling. That one's a fatty right there. That one's rolled up fat. All right. And so is this one. Good God. Got a little crazy. All right. We got enchiladas. They're in the pan. We're laying them out. We're going to put a little bit more sauce on top. There's one thing I enjoy is the sauce. I love getting sauce with this. All right. And nothing is finer, like at Betsy's Diner, by throwing some more cheese on top. Let's just use it all. All right, awesome. That's all set to go. We're going to grab these. We're going to put them in the oven. We're going to bake them off. And as soon as they come out, we're going to scoop some out and have some good food. We'll see you in a little bit, Bears. Hey Bears, we just pulled out the enchiladas from the 350-degree oven. We put it in there for about 12 minutes. They come out really nice and ooey and gooey. So we're going to grab these, we're going to plate them up. A couple of these enchiladas. Oh, look at them goo all over. Plenty of cheese in here, that's for sure. Awesome, we got that. Got a little bit of, cilantro, obviously, is one of the main ingredients in here. Really great. Saved a couple sprigs to kind of decorate up. Wipe the plate a little bit. Here we go, Bears. We have some delicious enchiladas made with salsa-based red sauce. That tomato sauce that we made came out really good. If you got extra sauce, remember, you can make more enchiladas, or you can almost use it as a different type of salsa as well. Or even if you got some nacho chips at home, layer it on some nacho chips, throw some cheese on it, and bake it and make some nachos with it. All different things that you can end up doing with the product that you still have left. But regardless, we've got some delicious red enchiladas here. I want to thank you guys for coming to the Crimson Hall Kitchen, Bears. It's been a long time since we've seen you, and we can't wait to see you in the fall coming up. In the meantime, enjoy your enchiladas. Be good, be healthy, be well. Be good, Bears. Take care.